This city, Ciudad Juárez, on the U.S. border, has seen more killings in Mexico's drug violence than any other. 16,500 people were killed between December 2006 and December 2011. And during that time, only 4% of murderers were sent to jail. It's a city where people think there's nothing but impunity and a license to kill. As we found out, people here are worried about security and the economy.
Angel Islas sings about all he knows: gangs, drugs, and death. Like millions of Mexican youth who've come of age during the country's 12 years of democracy, he's aimless, unemployed, and has few options. A high school dropout, Angel worked briefly in one of the more than 360 maquiladores in Juárez, border factories that churn out products for export, primarily to the U.S. Politicians and business leaders credit them with bringing jobs to the city, and the sector is growing. But wages are low, sometimes less than $10 a day.
Working in a factory is one option, but it's not a very good one. You can rob and kill too. That's become something normal to do here.
So he tried his hand at crime, serving as a foot soldier in a local gang.
Although Mexico's economy is growing at a rate of about 4%, there are 20 million Mexican youth left behind. They're either out of work or out of school. And providing opportunities for them and millions of older Mexicans is a challenge for whoever wins the presidency on Sunday.
All three major candidates say creating jobs is essential to keep more people from joining the ranks of criminal organizations. At its peak in 2009, Juárez had the highest murder rate in the world. In May, it dropped to its lowest level in 3 years, but 73 people were still killed that month. Overall, since December 2006, more than 50,000 people have been killed in Mexico's war against drug gangs and organized crime. One of them was Josefina Leiva's husband. She now runs her family's grocery store in the middle of Juárez. Her husband was murdered when he stopped paying off extortionists, gang members who prey on small businesses across the country. Now, Josefina must pay $225 a month to keep killers at bay.
Why? Because I'm scared. I'd rather pay than them coming to burn down the shop or kill us.
The candidates say they'll tame the violence by rooting out corruption and impunity. But Josefina's heard those promises before.
We need a real change with a good, responsible president that worries about the poor.
One widow's appeal for change. Change that she hopes could help the generation she'll leave behind.
Now, since that report, we've went on to hear that a man who is the head of a voting precinct here in Ciudad Juárez had his car stolen at gunpoint. And what was in his car? Well, more than 500 ballots that were meant to be used for voting on Sunday. It's unclear if this was a targeted attack on a precinct leader or if it was just some random act of violence. But what people like Josefina Leiva are going to be looking at in this election, that shopkeeper we spoke to, is if there's some sense of clean government and honesty coming out of this election, something she's not seen ever in her lifetime.